excuse the way my voice sounds because actually you might not even tell because of the AI filter, but I'm sick. I'm gonna be sniffling a lot. And I sound a little bit congested, but I was watching this video about boy moms, right? Everybody hates them, or some people are them, and that's very bad, but I was watching a video about that, and the topic about teaching their sons how to cook came up. And as someone who is very passionate about cooking and baking and does it as a hobby and also as like a basic life skill, in my opinion, I just got very heated ranting, so I'm gonna do it here. The thing that bothered me the most is that a lot of these TikToks, because they're showing TikToks, involved grown women teaching their toddler sons how to cook so they won't be impressed by their future girlfriend or wife's cooking, which is listed typically as a cup of ramen or frozen pizza. They say like teaching my son how to cook so they won't be impressed by your frozen pizza daughter. Like, okay, first of all, cooking isn't that impressive. And if you look at it in a general sense, in my opinion, like I said, cooking is a basic life skill. I think everybody should learn how to cook at least to an extremely basic level in order to survive. Because if you don't know how to cook, then you'll be reduced to just spending a lot of money on restaurants and fast food places because you can't do it yourself. You need someone else to cook for you, or you'll still be living with your parents and asking them to make you food. Now, I'm 19 years old. I still live with my parents, but I know how to cook my own food. And sometimes I'm too lazy to even make something proper, so I just heat up a cup of ramen or something frozen from the freezer, and that is perfectly valid. You gotta do what you gotta do to eat and survive, so you shouldn't be angry when these little girls, because again, they're teaching their toddler sons and young boys how to cook. You shouldn't be surprised or even like insulted that these little girls are just pulling out a frozen pizza from their freezer because they don't feel like ordering one, or they pull out some cup ramen because her and her boyfriend craved some. You don't have to judge them for not knowing how to cook when you're literally fucking children. Now, it would be something different if um they were teaching their sons how to cook once they're teenagers or adults, because one, like if they're in a fully grown man and they still don't know how to cook, then that's just embarrassing for both you and him. But two, teenagers should already have a basic understanding of cooking just by watching it. The easiest thing you could make up is a sandwich because it requires zero cooking. You just, personally, this is how I make a sandwich. You just take the bread, two slices, you put the ham, you put the cheese, and you put the mayonnaise, and you're done. And if you're worried about your little kid who's learning how to make a sandwich hurting themselves spreading mayonnaise with a knife, just get them one of those bottles that could squeeze it onto the bread. It's not that hard. Again, back to the boy moms teaching their sons how to cook so the future girlfriends won't be impressed. Why are you, as a grown woman, concerned about what your boy is going to eat when it comes to their future girlfriends and wives? Like, why are you worrying about that when your son is still crawling around in diapers? I don't understand. There are safe ways and unsafe ways to teach a child how to cook. And I've seen a video of a quote unquote lazy mom, or at least like lazy moms in general. I saw a TikTok where there was this girl, a woman, doing a sing song like warning to her toddler, which was also a girl. But you can see the child physically swinging the knife around with no like care or caution because it's a fucking toddler, is still in diapers. They don't have a fully developed brain or proper motor skills, and they can't process the fact that the song that their mom is singing to them isn't a regular lullaby. It's supposed to be a warning that they're not supposed to be using the knife in that manner. And it's so stupid. You can teach a toddler how to cook, but there's safer ways to do it. You can get them a place set, or you can go to the store, and I've seen multiple smaller versions of cooking utensils that you can give to your child and teach them something basic like frying an egg, not just chopping vegetables with a full-grown silver knife, okay? There's so many different ways that this problem could be solved, and it's just so stupid that these boy moms think this way because they're overprotective of their sons. You're so protective of them to the point where it borders on emotional or even physical incest, and it's disgusting. You can teach your son how to cook, but don't do it to spite other women, especially if they're going to be your future daughter-in-law. That's crazy. Change of scenery, but back to what I said about the difficulty level of cooking. You don't have to be a fucking professional in order to cook. Like I said, I think it's a basic survival skill, and some dishes, or at least most of them, are super fucking easy to make. You should not be able to pass around life not knowing how to cook. I feel like everyone should learn how to cook, and like the fucking Ratatouille movie said, anyone can cook. So just get in the kitchen and stop being a lazy piece of shit that steals everybody else's oxygen and use that energy to cook something useful. Who knows, maybe you might become an expert and actually become successful. But like I said, you don't need to be one because cooking is really fucking easy. Now, I say that cooking is super easy, but there is still some things that you have to follow. Like, for example, a child cannot understand how to cook if they don't understand how to use a stove or what utensils do what, because they're still in fucking diapers. There has to be some base understanding of like kitchen utensils and how to be safe in that kitchen. Because if not, then they're just gonna burn themselves over and over, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, well, I should have taught you how to cook sooner." No, that's not the right way to go about it. You have to wait until your kid is old enough to actually retain the information that they're being told, and when they can actually reply to you so that they can ask questions like, am I doing this right? Am I gonna hurt myself if I do this? Like, you should be able to have a conversation with your child in order for them to understand the things that you're saying when you're trying to teach them something. Because if they don't even have the ability to talk to you, then you won't know when they're confused or when they need help or when they're even hurt unless they just cry like the baby that they are. And like I said, a lot of dishes don't even require cooking. You can just put the ingredients together and just have food, like a sandwich or something. But when you do need to cook something, you can still do something very simple. I'm 19 years old, and of the few dishes that I know how to cook, I actually just slap a steak on the griddle, on the stove, and like pour salt on it, not a lot, but still, and then I cook it until it's done, and that's it. I have a fucking steak. I can just eat that shit and be satisfied. I can be happy, and I can live for another day. It's so easy to cook. But again, you have to be safe while doing it, and a child who is too young to comprehend what is even happening in the world around them other than seeing their mom's face disappear behind their hands can't cook. And also, why are you worrying about other families and whether or not their kids know how to cook? I know I'm arguing about that right now, but it comes from the perspective of someone who like can see past the boy mom bullshit because I'm 19. I don't have kids, and I especially don't have a boy mom. I'm just saying, if their kid doesn't know how to cook yet, that's probably because the parents are either too busy or they just don't think it's the right time to teach them how to cook. Or maybe it's because the kid hasn't asked yet. What if the kid doesn't want to learn how to cook? But here's the thing, even if someone doesn't want to learn, they have to learn, at least to an extremely basic level, in order to fucking survive. Otherwise, they'll just be spending every paycheck paying for their food just so they can live to see another day. You get what I'm saying, right? Like, there has to be a basic understanding, just like how people have to learn to read and write to get through life. Because if you don't know any of that, you're just going to be stumbling around like a confused zombie who just came back from the dead because your brain fucking explodes from all the information you're taking in and not understanding it. It really does piss me off that all of these women are taking the time to teach their sons a great and valuable skill when they're still a little baby and criticizing other parents and their daughters at the same time. You're being misogynistic, you're being stupid, and you're possibly being incestuous at the same time. All of that, which is very bad to have. I'm not saying you can't care about your sons or their future. That is one of the basic necessities of being a parent. You have to be invested in the growth and health of your child in order to be a parent. You have to be a good parent and teach them the things that they need to learn, but you can't do it when they can't even retain that information and insult other parents and their kids for not doing that same thing. To stay in your lane, old woman, and leave your hands out of your son's pants.